We are so thrilled to have you here. And I have to ask, first of all, this is not your first rodeo. I've met you many times and had so much fun chatting with you in the cast of Gotham. But how do you enjoy the Comic-Con experience? Is it fun for you?
No, I absolutely love it. I first started coming to some of these, with the very different back in the day, of course, when my father was Doctor Who. And I went to Philadelphia and I went to some of the shows where they used to sort of piggyback onto the sort of Star Trek big shows in the States. So that's my first introduction. And then when I was in the States, we were doing Gotham, and I met you, lovely lot.
Yes.
You know, but I just think it's extraordinary. I just think that it's such a sort of like a beautiful free space for everybody, and just the inventiveness and the artistic sort of passion that people have in their sort of design, the fan art that we get, and the costumes that everyone makes. I just find extraordinary. So big shout out to you lot.
Yes. Yeah. Give yourselves another round of applause.
Yeah, another round of applause. There you go.
Because you're right, it is a safe space. Everyone's here. And what I love about a Comic-Con, it's not just specific to one genre. So obviously we're going to talk about Gotham. But you have so many things represented here, from Star Wars to Harry Potter to Marvel. What sort of genre interests you? Are any of those franchises anything that you watch and you look forward to seeing?
I watch it. Honestly, I'm sort of a bit of a telly whore. I just watch everything, really, especially if my friends are in it. I hate watching myself, although I do sometimes because my friends are in it. But,
do you hate watching yourself?
I find it very difficult, yeah. I go, why do I sound like that? Why do I look like that? What's going on with the nose, you know? So, I love all of the above, really. I mean, I've been watching some great stuff, as we all have during COVID. I mean, I think we broke Netflix. I mean, I think I've watched everything on Netflix now. So I watch from sci-fi to murder mystery to detective stuff. I love it all, yeah. And
Netflix is great for those true crime documentaries. Isn't it insulting when Netflix asks if you're still watching? Doesn't that make you feel terrible? Yes, I'm still watching. Leave me alone. Well, I have to ask you, when you mentioned watching yourself back, is that something that you make yourself do to sort of improve or to see what you could change, or is it something you just dread seeing?
I think it's like a sort of slight morbid fascination, really. No, but there are things that I do watch that I was incredibly proud of, like when we shot Gotham, because I thought that it was operatic, like in its scale. And, of course, there was 11 sort of central characters that were in every episode, and just to watch them work and to remind you of the world that we were in. I mean, we shot 100 episodes in 5 years, and it's very easy to sort of drift off and become sort of hermetically sealed in your own little Master Bruce world of living in the manor. So it was important that I knew what was going on the streets of Gotham City.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the character of Alfred, obviously big Batman fan and Gotham fan, there's been so many iterations of Alfred. What sort of spoke to you when you were watching other people play him, and how did you put your own spin on it? Because that's a lot of pressure, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying, to be really honest. I mean, I was obviously thrilled because there's very few sort of people in the United Kingdom that are in the superhero universe, really. I mean, I can think of a couple. And of course, the great Sir Michael Caine just previously played it. So it's, it's large brogues to step into. The thing was, I was younger, and it was the first time we'd seen this period in Alfred's life and Master Bruce's life, the beginning of their relationship and their friendship. He never asked to be a father, so it was about really trying to understand a young man with a dark soul. Now, my son is called Alfred. Bit weird. But he's exactly the same age as David. So it was a very easy sort of emotional pool for me to draw from, because I was missing him terribly. And although my son not being dark, and nor is David, but his character was, it was just an interesting journey to find like a sort of like a common denominator and a way of communicating with someone who just watched his parents have his head shot off, kind of thing, So it was an interesting. We saw what happened. We had to find a way to be able to communicate, and that was my approach. Yeah. And a lot of it was through the physicality, as you know, we did lots of, I taught him how to fight and everything like that, and that is something that he responded to. So that was the beginning part of our relationship, really.
And what was the connection that you had with David? Because obviously on the show there's great chemistry, and he's a lovely guy. We had him here at Monopoly events, really intelligent young man. But what was the connection when you first met him? Was it sort of like an instant connection, or did you guys sort of get into it later?
No, unfortunately it was completely instant. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever met him. He is, as you've just said, I mean, he's super intelligent. I was struggling learning lines. And he'd be going off. He's in Stanford at the moment, Stanford University and Ivy League College. And he was going off something sort of neural technology and science and, biometrics in between takes. So he put me to shame. And I used to ask him, I say, was that any good in that scene? I was sort of, you treat him, from day one, I sort of treated him as an absolute equal, because he is. That's a great thing about our profession, is that it's not ageist, And no, it was just, I miss him terribly. I spent 5 years of my life with him, I miss him. He's a big lump now, though. And he's got a cracking right hook, I have to say.
It's got to be crazy to sort of see him grow up on screen.
Yeah,
very
much
interesting.
So.
And again, a great guy. We have some of those panels are on YouTube if you're following Monopoly events, and we hope that you are. A couple more fangirl questions from me, but if you're joining us here, please take a little look over here. On the left, we've got a microphone. And on the right, we have a microphone there as well. So if you guys have a question for Mr. Pertwee, come on up. Don't be shy. I know it's the first panel of the day, but please get up to the microphones here with a question for our guests here on our panel. But so I have to tell you, whenever I'm doing a Monopoly event show and I see that the cast of Gotham is going to be there, from David to you to Robin, who I absolutely love. He's so much fun. What is it like working with the cast? I'm sure there's a lot of camaraderie that goes on.
We were gutted that the show obviously finished. Yeah. But we know you so well, of course, and you've been so lovely to us. But I, like you, I look forward to these shows as well, to see my friends, obviously to see you all as well, but to see like Robin and everyone like that. Unfortunately, they're not here today. But Robin especially, as well, Drew, and Corey, who played the Riddler, Corey Michael Smith, they became like my brothers. So we were incredibly tight unit. And, I just miss them terribly, really, Sad thing about losing the show. Right.
It's such a good cast. But it'll live on forever. That's what's great. God bless Netflix and streaming services like that. Again, guys, don't be shy. We've got, give it up for our cosplayer here. Batman has arrived.
Master Bruce.
I have to ask, we have some amazing cosplayers here, and Deb is over here on the left if you want to sign up for our cosplay competition. But what's it like seeing Gotham cosplay?
Oh, no, it's fantastic. It's spooky sometimes. Is that you, David, really? Seriously, in there?
It could be David in there. We don't know. You said he grew up and he's taller now.
No, I love it. I love the passion. It's brilliant.
And there's so much effort that goes into cosplay, and we'll get to that later on today. We've got Breaking Bad over here as well. You guys look amazing. Give them a round of applause. Joker. All your friends are here, Sean. They showed up for you. We have a question over here from Superman. Hello, sir. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Stephen. You mentioned earlier on that obviously your dad played the Third Doctor. Is the Doctor Who franchise something you'd want to be a part of in the future? Or would you want to stay away from that because it's kind of your dad's legacy?
No, huge Cuban hills to fill, really. But I would love in some capacity one day to be in it. I think I'm probably one of the only English actors out there that actually hasn't been in it. So I was asked once to be in it in some capacity, which is like a sort of a Viking alien thing. But I do feel that I'd need something a little, like a bit more of an ode to my dad in some way, like a love child of the master or something. I don't know, something like that. But I would love to do it because I love the show. 60 years, right, coming out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
A lot of Doctor Who fans in the crowd, I presume, right? We have a panel tomorrow all about Doctor Who. That's going to be exciting. We have a question here on the right. Hello.
Hello, you look fantastic.
Thank you very much. I actually remember you from Cadfile, Hugh Beringer. That was a long time ago. Anyway, you've done quite a lot of really sort of violent, dark characters. What do you do to sort of de-stress after you've sort of done something that heavy?
I don't know why, because I'm sort of quite light and fluffy, really. I don't know why that happens. It's really weird. So when I was at drama school, I thought that I was going into like musical theatre and comedy, and I ended up being in sort of a lot of gangster pics and stuff like that. Then it's sort of like leaning towards science fiction to films like Soldier and Event Horizon and Equilibrium and all these. Got a lot of sci-fi movies, which, although they didn't do very well at the time, they're doing very well now. That's one of the great things, as you were saying about Netflix. They never seem to go away. So to de-stress, my family just laugh at me. Our family have been doing it for so many years. You can't be a flappy actor in the Pertwee household, really. No one listens to you. Yeah, thank you.
Question. Well, speaking of Netflix and rewatching things, everyone sort of has their Batman. Other than David, who is your Batman? You've got Michael Keaton, you've got Adam West, you've got Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale.
Him.
That's his Batman.
That's my Batman. You
Great
me.
answer. But do you have one, like a film that you liked watching, or does one stick out in your mind?
I loved Keaton. I thought
Yeah.
I loved the relationship actually with Michael Gough with his Alfred. I just like the closeness. I felt that really sort of existed, their relationship. And Christian, obviously. I just love them all. The thing is about Batman is that it seems to change with every generation. Like when I first watched it, I was in New York with my father. He was doing a show on Broadway. A funny thing happened on the way to the Forum. And when he used to come back, he used to put the telly on, and it was Batman was on. And it was really super camp, wasn't it? The Adam West days. But I had my mum's apron on and would bounce around the kitchen and everything like that. And it was super dope and super cool in those days, that iteration of it. So what I really like about Batman is it changes with every generation. And the fact that we were allowed to spend 100 hours doing our version of is nothing but a joy. And Robin feels the same, you know. We put our sort of small but perfectly formed flag in the sand, you know.
Can you believe we actually have a photo of you in the apron right here? Just kidding. Just kidding. Wouldn't that
Oh
be
my
fun?
God.
Aaron might have to Google that one. We have a question up here from a lovely lady on the left. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. If you were a sandwich, which sandwich would you be?
God, that's a really random one. It would probably be, I don't know, I'm leaning to a coronation chicken today, but I don't quite know why. No, it'd have to be something Spanish because I grew up in Ibiza, so it'd be a ham and cheese bocadilla. I don't know why. Good question, though.
I love that question. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
We welcome the random fun questions for sure. We've got some questions over here on the right.
Hi, guys.
What is your favorite movie that you've been involved with?
Oh, my favorite movie that I've been involved in. It's got to be, I have to say, it's a bit of a cliche, really, but it was probably Dog Soldiers. Because I've never shot a movie like my dad, who was an actor. They used to shoot things chronologically, which meant you shoot everything in absolute order. And we did this, with this a young director called Neil Marshall. And there was a lot of actors that hadn't really done movies before. And there was there's a fantastic actor called Kevin McKidd and Liam Cunningham. But when we shot it chronologically, when people died and they were taken straight off set, there was a real sense of sort of loss. And that's something that I thought was a kind of extraordinary thing. And boy, did we laugh when we were shooting this movie. We had ballet dancers in rubber suits. And it's one of those ones that we thought, well, you know, we had fun. And we thought we may have had more fun than the audience actually watching it. But it's still there. In fact, I don't know if you heard that Neil and I were doing, and Darren Morfitt, who played Spoonie, we were all in the HorrorCon show. And Neil has regained the rights to Dog Soldiers from this American producer, and reportedly is writing the second one. So it will be Dog Soldiers. So we might be doing Dog Soldiers 2, which would be cool, right? Well, I think it would be.
Thank you. Great question. We've got another question over here on the left. Another amazing cosplayer. You look great.
Thank you. We all know on TV shows, movies, bloopers happen. What is the funniest thing that's ever happened around you on set?
I wasn't really. I don't think it was around me. It was on me. When I was doing Brother Cadfael, that lovely lady asked the question. There was a series that I did when I was first sort of starting out, which is Derek Jacobi, and I told the production company that I couldn't ride. That I've got a natural fear of horses. I don't know a fear of horses, but they can smell fear through the seat of my trousers, kind of thing. And I told them, and they auditioned everyone from Clive Owen and absolutely everybody that can you ride, can you swordplay, and all that stuff. And I said, I really don't like horses, and they don't like me. So anyway, on the first day, this horse called Igor arrived on set, and it was about 14 hands, and it was trained to jump through walls, and it had all scars, and his face was all gnarly. It was a stunt horse. And the producer said, it's very funny, Sean, because, of course, there's only one actor. We auditioned nearly 1,000 people for this role. There's only one actor who said he couldn't ride. I said, it was me. And I got on this horse, because it had fallen over in this horse box. It had this poor thing, had this massive sort of hamburger thing where it's like grazed its butt. And my sword hit its flank, and it smashed the whole setup with me on board. I didn't fall off, but that was, kind of funny in retrospect.
Look back on and laugh now.
Sorry?
It's one of those things that you can look back at now and laugh at.
Exactly, and laugh at.
Have you been on a horse since?
Nah.
No.
I was on an elephant that bolted as well. So
What?
it was
wow.
a baby elephant, And it started running, and no one try stopping an elephant. Honestly,
Oh my God. Was this for fun or was this a
no,
film shoot?
it was another movie. I was rescuing
Wow.
a lady in distress on an elephant.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
What a
Thank you.
gentleman. Great question. Thank you so much. We've got time for a few more questions if you guys have any. But I had a question for you. We talked about a reunion of when you get to see the people from Gotham, and that's so much fun. But this particular Comic-Con here in Aberdeen, is there anybody here as far as our celebs that either you know or that you were excited to meet?
Well, there's a lovely friend of mine, Tom Payne, over there, who I did an episode of Prodigal Son, which is a fantastic show. And I was really pleased to see him and Tommy Flanagan, who I knew from back in the day. We did a movie together, but we were friends with Bobby Carlyle, who's one of his best mates. And so I was really pleased to see those guys, yeah. But that's what's great about coming to these shows. And, of course, the Doctor Who lot, like Sylvester McCoy and Colin Baker, who are all friends of my dad. So I feel like I've known them really all of my sort of life, professional life anyway.
So cool. We love to think of the celebrities mingling backstage and it's a superhero talking to someone from Star Wars. Very, very cool to see. We've got a question over here on the right.
Hello, mate.
Hiya. You were talking about Netflix. What was it working on the series You in season 4?
I don't really want to give a spoiler because I'm not around. Don't blink, anyone, if you watch the show. But as you know, I have a propensity to die, so you can only guess what happens. The big shock, the big surprise is the last 2 jobs I've done, I don't. So no, it was great. I did it really because I started watching the show because my friend Robin Lord Taylor was in the first season, and my son, who's a #1 fan, he loves the show, and I didn't tell him that they'd asked me to do a red herring style role on it. So he was really he was super excited for me to be there, and also Penn Bagley and everybody, Tilly Keeper and everyone like that, really wonderful actors. And it was it's a big old show, and it's a very strange show to shoot because you have Penn has this his internal voice, this internal monologue the whole time, and there's an actor that looks exactly like Penn who stands next to him. So it's very confusing to begin with who actually is talking and who to look at, really. But it was great. I haven't seen the second half yet, and they kept it really under tabs. You didn't know who was doing who, as they say. So, pleasure.
Thank you. Great question. We've got another one here on the left.
So you mentioned Event Horizon earlier.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite 90s sci-fi horrors. I just want to know, is there the slightest chance we may see an unrated cut with all the lost footage that was deleted from the movie?
That's the big question, isn't it? I mean, I heard from Paul Anderson. It was the 20th anniversary this year. And they had reputedly burnt the adult entertainment section, I think you're referring to, which is the big sort of denouement of what actually happened on the Event Horizon. And they had some adult actors doing their thing, and it all got out of control, apparently. So then they decided, the studio heard about this. They reputedly burnt all the stock footage, the footage they shot that day. And then we heard that it was actually sent to a Siberian salt mine. And I know, it was quite severe, and Paul went looking for it, but he can't find it. I think it's definitely gone, because you're right, they did this UHD ultra definition version the other day they've just released, and he desperately tried to put the original ending on, and also these deleted scenes that were a bit too blue, as they say. But good question, thank you.
Thank you. And what was it like working on that? I'm sure you get asked about Event Horizon all the time.
It was amazing. I mean, it was Adrian Biddle who shot Blade Runner and everything like that. It was the scale of it. We were on the 007 stages, the sound stage, the legendary stages at Pinewood. They built the whole of the Lewis and Clark, which was literally as big as this room. The whole thing was on gimbals. So everything was palpable and everything was real. It was there. And like I said, the ship actually moved to my controls. It was bizarre. And we were shooting for 6 months on a $75 million movie, which they don't really do anymore, really, in this country. So it was amazing to work with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne and stuff like that. It was incredible. Yeah.
Another question here on the left. Hiya.
Hiya. My friend is a really big fan of you in Event Horizon, and I think we were just wondering, did you have a favourite scene you filmed at all?
Oh gosh, it's going back a bit now. I mean, I love the sort of opening sequence when he's explaining to us what the Event Horizon actually is, I thought that was I thought that was such fun, and we really felt that we'd arrived. It was a very happy shoot. So really, like, I just remember it all very fondly. Getting a bit freaky when we were in those cryogenically freezing chambers. That was kind of spooky, being slowly, covered in water. That was kind of a bit odd. But no, it was great. Jason Isaacs. We were all starting out, so it was fun being involved in such a huge project.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh, great question. Another one here on the left. Hiya.
Hello. Is there a moment from Gotham that you're particularly proud or happy of how it turned out?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many elements over the years. Working with David was always just the joy. When he finds the mantra, "Thou shalt not kill," I thought that was one of my favorite moments. The other one was when I teach him to stand up, or don't teach him, I explain that he has to stand up against bullies. And that really was the germination of the whole idea of Batman and their relationship. So that was one of my favorite scenes as well, when he confronts his bully.
Very much.
Great question.
Thanks.
Thank you. We have time for maybe one or two more questions, so don't be shy, guys. Come on up. But a question for me. So after Comic-Con Aberdeen, obviously you're here tomorrow as well. What are you looking forward to, and what are you currently working on?
I'm currently wrapping up the thing I'm very proud of. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's a 4-parter called Black Cab, and it's a bit like Play Misty for me, and it's a bit like Taxi Driver, but set in Liverpool, but shot in Dublin. And I play a late night radio chat show host. So what they've discovered is it's Paramount and Channel 5, and it's a 4-parter. It's brilliantly written by this Scouse writer called Nick Saltrees. And what they've discovered is that I'm the sound. It's kind of the soundtrack. I do lots of voiceovers anyway. And so what they've done is we're constantly adding to the sort of tapestry of the background sound. So I'm always there, and he gets dangerously obsessed with me and thinks that I'm talking to him. So it's a development of that. So we're still doing it. We're still working on it. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
Between that and you, what is it with you and stalkers? There's some kind of there's a theme going. We've got a question over here on the left.
There he is.
First, what's for dinner tonight, Alfred?
Pizza, apparently. He always likes pizza.
Good. Second, if you got asked to do another season of Gotham, would you be willing to do it?
Oh, in a heartbeat. I think all of us. I mean, we were desperately hoping that I think that what happened with Gotham is that all of us feel that we deserve the right to basically play the characters that we developed over 5 years to get to that end. And I think what we all wanted to do is really give our interpretations of that character. I mean, the brilliant Cameron Monaghan, who played the prototype Joker, he deserved to be like fully fledged Joker. And I'd love to have been the fully fledged Alfred, later on in years. And I think all of us would have liked one more crack of it. One more season would have been ideal, or maybe a Christmas special.
Ooh, a Christmas special.
Yeah.
Not like the Star Wars Christmas special, right? That was a little strange. God bless. So final question from me. Is there a role that you have yet to play that you've always wanted to?
Oh, gosh. Oh, my
Or there could be more than one.
Well, I played Alfred, which was that was one of them. Oh my gosh, I'd have to think about that. I'll get back to you on that one. I can't think of
I'll
it.
come to your table and we'll interview you about that. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause and show your appreciation for Sean Pertwee.
Thank you so much.
And
Thanks
make
a lot.
sure that you go